a stimulus deal, and those second stimulus checks could be closer than we actually think. A complete 180 from what we were talking about last night and this morning. But the reason I wanted to bring you this second video of the day is because we actually have some pretty encouraging quotes and developments that I thought would be relevant to bring to you. So hey, I hope you're having a nice Friday night so far. But as always, let's get right into it. My videos pertain to everybody, including Social Security recipients, retirement, disability and survivors, SSI, supplemental security income, VA, RRB, low income, and no income. The reason I clarify that in all of my videos is because if I don't, I always get so many comments of people asking, what about SSDI? What about SSI? So I like to say that just to be sure, like, hey, all of you that I just mentioned, you're like the groups of people that I look out for. So if I mentioned any of those groups and you're included in them, hey, I'm looking out for you. I'm your daily advocate, otherwise known as the underdog advocate. But anyway, enough out of me. Let's talk about this and why this is encouraging. So you've probably heard about this. It's all over the news right now, but President Trump was diagnosed with COVID overnight, and he was actually taken by Marine One to the Walter Reed Medical Center just not that long ago, just a couple hours ago. So where they expect he's going to be staying in the hospital for a few days from the diagnosis of COVID. So we, all of us wish him the absolute best and a quick recovery. That's scary. I mean, I think a lot of us are seeing like the severity of this whole thing now. It's like, it's becoming much more serious all of a sudden, which is weird. Also, Nancy Pelosi said that President Trump's diagnosis changes the dynamic. So that's pretty interesting. She also went on to say she anticipates striking a bipartisan deal with the administration, and President Trump's diagnosis could speed up the process. So it's really interesting and at the same time sad and unfortunate that these government officials finally see the urgency of coming up with another stimulus deal just because the president was diagnosed. I mean, it was only a matter of time until one of these government officials got it, right? But I just feel like it's so sad that this is what it's taking, someone to be diagnosed with COVID, for them to realize the severity of this issue and they need to work on another stimulus deal. So unfortunately, that's the issue we're dealing with right now, but it's a real thing. Nancy Pelosi also went on to say that that more airline aid is imminent and that she urges airlines to stop the furloughs. So as we know, yesterday, October 1st, technically airlines were able to start furloughing, and with just between a few of the airlines, they were going to be furloughing over 32,000 people. Well, they're kind of panicking now because there's tens of thousands of people just between the airlines that are going to be furloughed and laid off now. So this is kind of, again, lighting a little fire under Congress and the negotiators to work through another stimulus deal because, all of a sudden, all these people are going to start hitting the unemployment lines, otherwise, the unemployments. So that's really sad for those people. But it's encouraging to hear this quote from Nancy saying, hey, another airline deal is imminent. I guess what I have to say about that is if they bail out the airlines again without offering more stimulus for the people, I just feel like that would be a huge, huge disservice to the American people. So we'll have to watch that. They've toyed with the idea of just a plain old airline bailout deal, and I feel like, oh man, that would be really rough if they pulled that one, that they just whip out a $25 billion bailout for the airlines. Meanwhile, the American people are starving, can't pay their rent, can't pay their utilities. I mean, you guys know it. I mean, everybody's living it. So anyway, I just feel like that'd be a really sad thing. Either way, Nancy and Steve Mnuchin spoke today for 65 minutes. Again, 5 days in a row now. Wow. I mean, this is incredible. They have not spoken this much, this many days in a row, or this many days in a row, or this long in a very long time, maybe if ever. I mean, seriously, during these negotiations over the last several months, they've never spoken this much. So it shows the urgency that they're seeing in this and that they need to get something done. In fact, at the beginning of the day today, Friday morning, they had no intentions. I mean, they had no plans on speaking today. But yes, this afternoon, they cranked out a 65-minute conversation, which I actually think that's their second longest conversation, with the exception of a 90-minute conversation just the other day. Also, there's rumor I've read in a few different sources, there's rumor that the House of Representatives actually did not leave this weekend and they're staying. I have not found concrete evidence of this. However, I have seen some rumors of that. So I'm not saying it's fact yet, but there's rumor from a couple different sources that I saw that the House of Representatives is actually staying this weekend when technically their recess starts today, starts now, where they can actually leave and go back home, go back to their districts, and start campaigning for the next month until they return after the election. So the reason I wanted to point that out, if the House is staying this weekend, I guarantee you they were directed by Nancy, and she probably kind of, hey guys, stick around this weekend. We might have some fireworks and some good stuff. So Nancy and Steve Mnuchin continue their negotiations over the weekend. So again, continuing their negotiations over the weekend, as well as the House staying this weekend, it could be good. It could be a fireworks-worthy weekend. You never know. So that's, again, why I wanted to bring this video to you, because it's like a complete 180 from what we were saying just yesterday and this morning. It seemed like it was just completely game over for this whole stimulus negotiation, but yet now here we are, a 180-degree turn, and it looks like we could be getting something sooner than we actually think. So this could be actually a pretty good weekend, and of course I'll keep you posted, but here we go. Nancy, she laid out 5 key differences where her and Steve Mnuchin are, still having some further negotiations where they're still arguing they need to come together on these 5 differences. This is it. They've narrowed it down to 5. I just feel like pull out the cheerleaders. Come on, guys. We're so close. Just come together on this. This is all we need. All right, so here are the 5 points that Nancy has outlined where these two are still arguing. And here they are. Unemployment benefits. Democrats want $600 a week. Republicans want $400. But not only are they arguing about the dollar amount, but they're arguing about the length of time. So unemployment, dollar amount, and length of time. Number 2, schools. Republicans have offered $150 billion, and Nancy wants a little over $200 billion. I feel like, man, you guys are so close. You're like $50 billion apart. Split the difference. Call it a day. I mean, I don't know. That's how I negotiate anyway. Just split the difference. Make sure everybody's happy. Next on the list is state and local government funding. Again, they're apart by almost $200 billion on this one. So again, it's a little bit of a stretch, but that's where we stand. Next point is tax credits for families with children. Yeah, okay. Whatever with that. I mean, seriously, give the people some more money. Jeez. Next is testing and contact tracing for, COVID. I mean, I feel like all of these are so basic. So considering that they're going to continue their negotiations over the weekend, I just felt like this was relevant information once again to bring you this second video. I don't want to cry wolf. I don't want to jump the gun and, bring you 2 videos a day every day. But when I find that there's relevant information, I definitely want to bring that to you. And I feel like this could be actually a really good weekend. So I wanted to encourage everybody once again that, hey, we're not out of the woods. It's not game over yet. We actually think we could get something done here really quick. Actually, one other point I saw when I was doing all this research, I saw one guy, he was some government official that watches all this stuff. He estimates that there will be a deal, a 65%, he's estimating 65% that we'll have a deal within the next 10 days. Well, I feel like 10 days, come on. Let's narrow that down to like 3 days. How about the weekend? So anyway, have a good night, everybody, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. I'm really excited to bring you some really good news sometime. When we finally get a deal, trust me, you'll see it in the title, you'll see it in the thumbnail. I will make it very clear that we have a deal. And so yeah, stay tuned for that. I think it's coming sooner than you think. So anyway, enjoy your night, everybody. I'll catch you again tomorrow. See ya.